Another year, another Cowboys Thanksgiving game. And you know what? Even if the Cowboys aren't really that great this year, I'm personally excited to sit down, eat some good food, and watch Dallas play on Thanksgiving. This year, the Cowboys sit at 4-7, the Giants at 2-9. And like every other year, they're going to face off at AT&T Stadium. And a win for the Cowboys would be their first home victory of the 2024 season, which isn't great. And it gets worse when you realize that they've given up an average of 37 points at home this year. Still, I think there's a little bit of hope for this team. And when I say hope, I am hoping for a good game because they've been few and far between this year. But last week's win over Washington was a start. And you add in the fact that the Giants aren't very good, it sets up pretty well for Dallas. But there is one big wild card that I think makes this game much more interesting, so let's get into it. Let's start with the Cowboys on the Dallas deep dive. I think this team has a little bit of momentum from that Washington win. You're talking about a 34-26 victory over a Commanders team that was sitting at 7-3. Sure, the Commanders were kind of on a skid over the past couple of weeks. They've lost some games, but still against a division rival, a previous coach in Dan Quinn, a rookie of the year candidate in Jaden Daniels. I think that meant a lot to this team. And I think we learned some things about this group. Number one, they haven't quit. They haven't quit on Mike McCarthy. He seemed like he had kind of lost the team after the Dak Prescott injury because they had played so bad. But watching all the guys go out there, play well, play hard, it just shows me that they're not quite out on McCarthy like I originally thought. The second thing I learned was their offense continues to struggle even more without Dak Prescott. Cooper Rush has improved over the weeks, but I don't think he's going to win you games down this back stretch. But he certainly has improved from that 2 yards per attempt against the Eagles. And then the third thing that I learned is the defense is getting better. They shut down the Washington offense for about 55 minutes last week. And with Micah Parsons back, Mike Zimmer's system is becoming more implemented. The defense has slowly kind of gotten itself together. Will that continue this week? We're going to have to wait and see. For some reason, this year, Dallas doesn't have any sort of home field advantage. It's turned into more of a home field disadvantage. They've been awful at home this year, but if they're going to kind of start to turn it around, knock that win out of the way, this is going to be the week to do it. Because the Giants, Big Blue has big problems. They're simply not a good team. They're sitting at 2-7. They just released Daniel Jones. They got absolutely crushed by the Buccaneers right after that. And it seems like this team has all but quit on their head coach in Brian Daboll. Now, that certainly doesn't mean that this version of the Cowboys are going to steamroll them like we've seen in years past, but it could be pretty embarrassing if the Cowboys lose this game in embarrassing fashion. For New York, they have no idea what they're doing at quarterback. Tommy DeVito has an injury. He had forearm soreness, a stiff neck. So that means that Drew Lock, previously with the Broncos and Seahawks, has been taking first team reps in practice and could potentially start. It's going that way. And I'm going to be honest, I'm probably more scared of Lock than I am Tommy DeVito. For me, at least, I hope that DeVito can go and Dallas gets a chance to face him tomorrow instead of Locke. I just think that Locke has shown the ability to at least play in the NFL. When Dallas faced DeVito last year, it was awful. Now, we all feel like the Cowboys are on the rocks. This team is falling apart. The Giants are. Rookie wide receiver Malik Neighbors was talking about wanting more involvement early in games. He was complaining about the offensive game plans, not getting him the ball. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if early in this game, they are running tunnel screens to him, jet sweeps, whatever the Giants have to do to get him the ball, they're going to do early and often. If they don't, it could get even uglier. Before we continue, I wanted to give a shout out to the sponsor of today's video, BETUS. They have much more than just football, basketball, baseball, hockey, tennis, even surfing. I mean, you name it, BETUS has it. But we all really like football around here, and they have NFL futures like the Super Bowl winner, conference winners, division winners, playoff specials, all of those fun future odds. They have you covered. The possibilities really are endless with BETUS. If you sign up today, you'll get a 150% deposit bonus on your first deposit and a 125% bonus on your next two. So go check out BETUS, where the game begins. So let's get into our key matchups to watch for this game, and let's start in the trenches. Where else? The Cowboys pass rush versus the Giants offensive line. If you look at the numbers since Micah Parsons got back, this defense has changed. They're coming off one of their best performances of the season last week. Micah was all over the field against Washington, and they're going to need him to do that again. The Giants are without Andrew Thomas, so Micah is going to get a chance to go against two tackles that aren't Andrew Thomas, which is a huge advantage Cowboys. And when I say that this defense has changed since Micah got back, the Cowboys have allowed 1 third down conversion of 7 or more yards out of their last 17. Teams are 1-17 when Dallas gets them into third and long. Whether it's with DeVito or Locke back there, get the Giants into third and long, and you can use your pass rush and take advantage of the quarterback and the offensive line of New York. Matchup number 2, Cowboys offensive line versus the Giants defensive line. Last week, the two young guys, Hoffman and Bass, played really well in the middle of the offensive line, and with Tyler Smith likely back this week, Bass or Hoffman's going to start at right guard in Zach Martin's place. Regardless, though, that offensive line is going to have to focus on one man, Dexter Lawrence, the best defensive tackle in football. Beebe, Smith, Hoffman, Bass, whoever cannot let Dexter Lawrence wreck this game, because he will. Rush can't really move around. He can't move very well. He's really not going to be able to make things happen outside of the pocket. So holding up on the interior against such a good defensive tackle is going to be crucial. Now, the Cowboys defense is the worst in the league in terms of EPA allowed per rush. The second worst team in the league is the Giants. So it's going to be huge for the Cowboys run game if they can control the interior of the line of scrimmage. Dallas has ran the ball pretty well over the past couple of weeks. It hasn't been, Saquon Barkley, but it would be nice if you don't let Lawrence wreck the game. Hopefully the interior, probably Smith, Beebe, and Bass. Like I mentioned earlier, you can't really trust Cooper Rush to win you games. So being able to run the ball, control the line of scrimmage, not let their all-pro, all-world defensive tackle wreck the game is gonna be huge. Now, my last one is not as much of a matchup, but I guess you can disguise it as that, young guys versus their Washington game selves, if that makes sense, all right? The NFL is not about one game. The NFL is about consistency. That's what separates the good players from the average players from the bad players. So what I mean is, all of the guys that played well last week, the reason that Dallas won, they got to carry it over. Can you get better? Can you build on the week that you just had? I'm looking at Luke Schoonmaker, Mozzie Smith, Josh Butler, Kevontae Turpin. All those guys played a big part in getting a win last week. So against the Giants, against their last week's selves, can those guys show up, do it again, show the consistency, the growth as players? That's what we're going to have to wait and see. If they do, this game should go how I am predicting it to, which will be a close game regardless, because you're not going to be able to create explosive plays with Cooper Rush, and Dallas's offense just hasn't been big play after big play, and the Giants are, the same kind of offense. So I'm expecting a close game. It certainly won't be a blowout. If it is, I will be very, very surprised either way. So I have Cowboys winning 20-16. Yep, who could have saw that coming? Cowboys get the win on Thanksgiving and move to 5-7. Kind of interested to see how people are talking about this team, even though they beat the Giants. What people are talking about with this organization. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. I love you all, and I'll see you next time. Bye.